You are sitting at a stoplight. The guy next to you is revving his Hellcat, windows down, bass thumping, flexing 707 horsepower like he owns the road. He looks over, he smirks, and then he sees what is sitting in the lane next to him. It looks like a Cayenne. It is a Cayenne, but it is not making any noise. It is just sitting there, silent, patient. He laughs. The light turns green. You stop the throttle and the world turns into a blur. 3 tons of German SUV just turned into a fighter jet, and that Hellcat is now a dot in the mirror. He just got gapped by a family hauler. That is the 2026 Porsche Cayenne Electric. And it is the most disrespectful vehicle on the planet. Let that sink in for a second. 1,139 horsepower. That is more than the Porsche 918 Spider, more than the Ferrari LaFerrari, more than the McLaren P1. Those are million-dollar hypercars. This is a 5-seat SUV with a frunk. The turbo version hits 60 miles per hour into 0.4 seconds. To 0.4, that is Bugatti Chiron territory. That is Tesla Model S Plaid with a family strapped in the back. Except this is a Porsche, so it does not just go fast in a straight line. It carves corners like a scalpel, it bends physics to its will. And it makes a Hellcat owner question every financial decision he has ever made. How is this real? Here is the part that breaks brains. It weighs nearly 3 tons, 6,000 pounds. Think about that. You could park a Ford F-150 in the cargo area and still have room for luggage. And yet it accelerates like a top fuel dragster for the first 60 feet. There is a button on the steering wheel labeled Sport Response. Press it and for 10 glorious seconds, the electric motors unlock an extra 170 horsepower. It is like hitting the nitrous button in a video game, except you are actually doing it, actually feeling your internal organs shift backward, actually hearing your passenger scream. That is not marketing hype. That is physics doing unspeakable things. Now, the usual argument from the gas crowd is always the same. Okay, it is fast, but what about range? What about charging? What about road trips? Fair questions. Here are the answers. Porsche took a camouflaged prototype, put real journalists behind the wheel, and told them to drive on the highway at 70 miles per hour until the battery died. They drove 350 miles. Not the optimistic European cycle. Not ideal conditions with a tailwind and downhill slopes. 350 real American highway miles. That is New York to Cleveland without stopping. That is Los Angeles to San Francisco and back with juice left over. Range anxiety is dead, murdered, buried in a shallow grave. And when you do need to charge, 16 minutes from 10% to 80%, 16. That is a bathroom break. That is grabbing a Red Bull and a bag of chips. By the time you get back to the car, you have over 200 miles of range added. This thing charges at 400 kilowatts. Let that number rattle around your skull. The BMW X, its direct competitor, maxes out at 195. The Rivian R1S tops out around to 20. The Porsche blows them both into next week. It maintains 350 kilowatt all the way up to 50% state of charge. It does not taper off like a scared dog. It stays pinned. But wait, there is more. Porsche is offering wireless inductive charging. You pull into your garage, the car positions itself using cameras and sensors, and it lowers onto its air suspension. Electricity flows through the air like magic. No cables, no plugging in, no forgetting to charge overnight. You just park and walk away. Imagine never touching a charging handle again. Imagine never having to stand in the rain at some broken Electrified America station while the guy in the Chevy Bolt gives you the side eye. That is the future. It is here. It is wireless. Now, let us talk about what this thing looks like. Because Porsche did not reinvent the wheel. They did not slap some weird egg-shaped aerodynamic blob on the road and call it futuristic. This looks like a Cayenne. It has the stance, the presence, the unmistakable Porsche silhouette. But look closer, the grille is closed because there is no engine to cool. Instead, there are active cooling flaps that open only when the battery or motors need airflow. The turbo model has active aero blades that extend from the rear bumper at speed, smoothing the air like a ghost. The drag coefficient is 0.25. That is slippery. That is Lotus Eliter territory. That is how you get 350 miles of range out of a brick-shaped SUV. Open the door. The dashboard is a curved OLED waterfall. It flows from the top of the dash down toward your fingertips, and it is bright enough to read on a sunny day with the roof open. The passenger gets their own screen, 14.9 inches of streaming video, navigation, or just flexing on the person in the back seat. The driver cannot see it, so there are no distractions. But the passenger can watch Netflix while you carve canyon roads. That is what peak civilization looks like, and here is something the cold weather folks will appreciate. Surface heating, not just heated seats, heated armrests. Heated center console lid, heated door panels. Your elbows stay warm, your forearms stay warm. The places you actually touch are bathed in gentle heat, while the rest of the cabin stays efficient. It is a small detail, but it is the kind of detail Porsche obsesses over. The kind of detail that makes you realize this is not just another Eve, this is a Porsche first, an electric vehicle second. Now let us address the elephant in the room, the price. The base model starts around $109,000. The turbo, the one with 1100 horsepower, active aero, and the suspension that defies belief, starts at $163,000. That is a lot of money. That is more than a BMW XM70 by about 40 grand. But here is the thing, the BMW does 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. The Porsche does it into 0.4. The BMW charges at 195 kilowatts, the Porsche charges at 400. The BMW has 308 miles of range. The Porsche has 350. The BMW is a fantastic electric SUV. The Porsche is a weapon. You are paying for that second. You are paying for the look on the Hellcat owner's face. So the next time you see a Cayenne at a stoplight, do not assume it is just another luxury SUV. It might be the one with 1100 horsepower.